Okay, here we are on part 2 of the Yacht oil change. These are Cat 3406s, and this is a real critical part of the oil change, is the oil filter and the way you treat this oil filter. You do not want any dirt to get inside this oil filter. So I haven't refilled the engine yet. I want to do that after I put this oil filter on. So I'm not doing anything with the seal that's on this filter, or I'm not taking it out of the box until I'm ready to put it on. Okay, so you want to see the biggest mistake everybody makes when they put an oil filter on, especially a high volume oil filter, is they put it on without putting any oil in first. Now, if you read the manual, it tells you to do just that. The manual is full of crap, because the only thing they're worried about is if you let any dirt get in this filter by filling it up, that they don't want you putting it on that way. You talk to or look at any mechanic that knows what he's doing that changes his oil, or he's at the Cat dealership, they're stinking putting the oil in here first. So what I'm doing is I'm taking great care to make sure that I do not get oil inside this oil filter. I mean dirt in it. So I don't have to fill it all the way to the very tip top. Okay? And this is a big filter. This is 6 inches in diameter and almost 12 inches. Okay? And I just pour the oil right down the center of it. As I pour that oil in the center, it's going to allow that oil to start absorbing. It'll come to the top, and it'll also head back down again. Hate to bore you guys that know how to change your oil or have done this before with the details of this, but these engines are worth about 100 grand each by the time you take them out and replace them. So I think if one of you guys is going to be changing your oil, you're going to want to see the whole detail of it. So I'm filling this baby up. It'll come to the top, and then it falls back down to the bottom. Now I'm going to be satisfied if I get this thing about 3/4 of the way full, maybe 80% full. I'll be satisfied. Now that wasn't a full gallon, because I used part of that gallon, if you watched part 1, to make sure that I had clean oil backing up out of my oil pan in my reverso system. So, and which I do. Okay, here I go. By the way, you know, living on a yacht, servicing a yacht, this is called yacht yoga. Any of you guys that have done this stuff know what I'm talking about. I don't need yoga classes because I'm stretching all the time on this boat. It's not like doing my own service. Okay, I'm getting pretty satisfied with where that's at. I'm going to go just a touch more. All the while making absolute sure that I'm not getting any dirt in here. Here's the next most critical point. Take my finger and I'm going to rub that across the top of this seal here. Now you see I don't have rubber gloves on right now. And the reason why I don't is on this part of the oil change, I like to just have my free hand here. Now, I've already inspected the underside of that. It all looks good. The main thing I want to be careful of is that the old gasket from the old filter isn't still up in there. That'd be a problem, okay? You don't want it. You don't want to make sure that it is on the filter that you're throwing away. Now remember, this boy's heavy here. And I'm kind of sacrificing my health to hold the video, so I'm coming over here and showing you how to do this. It's a one-man job here. And I'm really taking care to start that thread. And with a little bit of effort, I got it. Okay, I'm putting this back up here. Pretty nice because it's got almost a 2.5 inch stem on there, threads. Yeah, the next big mistake everybody makes is you always over tighten your oil filters. They really, truly the reality is some of these commercial filters, they can handle being tightened a little bit tighter. If you look at the top of that gasket compared to what goes on your car. I want to be careful that I don't torque it too much. But I also want to torque it enough so that when I'm underway in high seas, that I'm not, I don't have to worry about my oil filter, even though we do it every hour engine room checks. Okay, now I could keep cranking on that. I'm not going to. I'm there. I'm satisfied with that. Okay. I can't release it with hand pressure, although I know I could torque it another full half turn if I wanted to. So now I'm ready to start putting oil back into this thing, and that's the best part of this reverso system here. You think I'd work for these guys or I would stock in them, but I don't. I'm just grateful I have it in my boat. So it's as easy as this. I'm now coming over here, making sure I've got a clean hose. I'm gonna take my cap off. I'm going to take one of these rags. I'm going to take this hose, I'm going to stuff it down to the bottom of my 5-gallon bucket. Okay. I'm going to make sure my valve is on to my port side engine, which it is. My valve is off to my ZF transmission. I'm going to simply come over here to the fill side. And remember, this is the first time I've done this. So everything I'm doing here is the first time for this boat. I'm pushing fill. And this is now going to start sucking this oil from this 5-gallon jug. And it's transferring that oil over into my port side engine. That's a thing of beauty. I'm not filling up through my fill hole, any one 2 different spots that I could do that. It's now pushing it back in to the same hole I sucked it out of. And I made sure, now I have peace because that same oil that I'm pushing back in, I made sure that I primed it with fresh yellow 1540. So things are going good. I'm going to be putting in 2 of these 5-gallon jugs plus another about 1 1/4, because remember, if this takes 52 quarts, that big thing just took about 2.5 quarts. We'll see exactly what it'll take. I'll see on part 3. All we're doing now is just filling this engine back up again. It's as easy as this. Pretty nice.